In this segment, we're going to look at the group editor and how it functions, and then show you how the results in the group editor can be sent out to VoloView Express or AutoCAD, depending on what you have installed in your system. First, I'm going to go 130 minus to enter the group editor. And I see when I bring up the screen, which is a bit different than what you're used to because it's kind of a window screen for a change, I can look at a group that I've already defined, and here I've simply taken all the points of this particular project and put them in a point file and said show me points 1 to 100, and it says that it's active, which means when I send it out to graphics, in this case it'll be VoloView Express, it means that all the stuff will show up. Here, as you see, I can do points, close polygon, or open, meaning it's just going to connect some lines and stop and not try to close anything. And I can label my points, point numbers, descriptions, elevations, visions, and descriptions. So I have quite a few things I can do. In the manual, in the groups chapter, which I think is 11, you can read about how the line layers work and how the group links work. So that's a quick look at this particular lot. Just to may have a little fun here, these two lots I did in the last video, I will add to this group and see, or make two new groups rather. So here I'll go into group number 302, and I'll call it lot 1, and I will tell it that it's a closed polygon, and I'll say it's defined by points 1 to 4, and that's really all I have to tell it to make it work. It goes in, says that it's active, as you can see. I'll add one more just to give us a little blend here. I'll call that group number 303, and I'll call it lot number 2, and again it'll be a closed polygon as well, and it will be defined by points 10, 13 to 15, and with that I can say OK, and it will do that. And at this point I have 3 groups that I'm ready to work with, and so I'm going to close this command and say OK. Now if I want to see what these lots might look like, for example, I can go 134 minus, it'll ask me for group number, and I can say 302, and it'll show me that information, and I can say 303, and it'll show me that information. And pretty much matches up with those inverses I did a while ago. Now if I want to send this out to the plotter, in this case I'm going to do it as a DXF, so I go 127 minus to create a DXF file. And I'm going to accept the defaults that are here. Again, the chapter on creating a DXF file will give you all the details of what you need to do here, and if you've been using this function already in the DOS version, you're pretty familiar with it already. I really don't want to change anything here. It wants to know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call this Chang, just to put a name on it, and I'm going to go with automatic labeling, distances inside, bearings outside. I do want to plot everything. I don't want to rotate. I'll go 1 equals, oops, sorry about that, 1 equals 50, and right of line and to left of the line. Now my system goes to work, brings up VoloView Express, shows me all the points here and all my lots. As you can see, I obviously didn't know what I was doing with this guy over here because I have this nice little crazy crazy X file. But now I have some very simple tools for working here. First thing I can do is I can change my view to show black on white, which may be a little easy to look at in the movie. And I can zoom a window so I can come down here and take a look at this and see what I have. Bearings, distances, things like that, areas. Okay, so that lot is fine. I want to zoom back out to the extent, so I just click there, it comes back out. There are curves, it'll create a curve table. It does all kinds of very neat things that make this very useful. Not to get into too many of the details of VoloView because there's documentation that you can read on that, but I can mark things up here, so I could circle this area here, and then I could say we need to fix this, or something like that, okay? And then I can actually save this as a markup and send it along to people, and they can view it with VoloView Express. Since VoloView Express is freely distributed, it can go on anybody's desktop, and you can use it any way you want. So that's a quick presentation there. If I'm done with this, again, I can print this. Again, it's a Windows device, so it'll print to whatever printer I specify. And has all the normal controls you would expect a little viewer like this to have. If I just choose to close this, and I'll say no, I don't care about saving the changes, and I can just knock VoloView down and come right back in to my program here. I can say for minus, and it should ask me to if I want to save the job. I want to save it, yes. And it's going to put those two lots, those two additional groups I put in out there, and bring me back to the main menu. And that's pretty much how groups and how connecting them to VoloView Express to print or plot or view works.